Hi, Jim Gore from THOR Wealth Management. Well, we saw inflation numbers come in. They're a lot lower than where they were a year ago, but they're still very high, the core rate being over 5% year over year. And it's going to be very difficult for the Federal Reserve to actually go ahead and get it down to the 2% level. And the reason for that is threefold. First is energy, the energy transition. Second is wages. And third is going to be food prices. Now, let's talk about the energy transition. And this is giving a good example of two major components that are needed for electric vehicles. So you look at copper prices. Copper prices have been going down until we hit 2020. But notice that copper prices have gone up pretty significantly. And even though it's down here more recently, it is still above the average over the last 10 plus years. And it's much higher than what it was just 2 or 3 years ago. And that is because copper, the amount of copper that is used in an electric vehicle is significantly higher than it is for a normal car. So you're going to see demand for copper, and that's reflected in the price. The other thing is, for those batteries, is lithium. And you can see the price of lithium has really skyrocketed, and it's up threefold from what it was just 2-3 years ago. It was significantly higher. You had some fluff in the market. It's come down, but it is still elevated. And this is why you're going to see your electric vehicles are going to cost more than your standard vehicles, which will add to inflationary pressures. The other thing is that we go through this energy transitions. We've gone from using natural gas for energy to intermittent fuel sources. And you can see that in what I'm talking about intermittent, I'm talking about wind and solar. And this is showing we're getting rid of natural gas, which natural gas, because of fracking, has been the main reason why we've had deflation over the last several years. And we're starting to see people are asking for these energy companies to get rid of their natural gas power plants and use wind and solar, which is not very reliable. What that's going to mean is higher cost for the future. So as these policies for going to electric vehicles and getting rid of natural gas, a very cheap form of energy, we're going to see increased cost for energy, and that almost goes into every aspect of our life. The second thing that's going to hurt the Federal Reserve is wage pressures. We're starting to see people are starting to ask for more wages, and you can see that in this chart. This is the quarter over quarter change in the civilian wages, and you can see that there's been a meaningful increase over the last 2 to 3 years, and it is still elevated on a quarterly basis of 1.2%, which annualizes out to almost a 5% increase in wages, which is significantly higher than what it was just a few years ago. And wages represent about 70% of any cost of any good or item that we get. And the last thing is another policy change that we're seeing throughout Europe. And these are just two headlines that come out. First one is from the Irish Farmers Journal. The Dutch government is moving right now to buy farms. They're paying a 20% premium over what they say the value is. A lot of farmers are upset about this, and they're doing this because they want to get their climate change and get rid of these farms. This is very unusual because the Netherlands is the world's second largest exporter of agricultural goods. So as they go ahead and buy these farms and decommission them, there's going to be less crops and less produce, as well as less animals for meat. So there's going to be less food for us to eat. And that's also reflected in what's happening in Ireland, because Ireland just proposed to kill 200,000 of their cows in order to meet their climate goals. So when you do that, there's going to be a cost to us in food. We've gone from, I remember back in the 70s, there were some concerns that we didn't have enough food for the population. Obviously, we've been able to solve that issue. But here again, policies, just like with energy and the EV market, the policies here are going to cause higher costs in the futures. So what does this mean for you as an investor? Well, this means that we're going to have higher inflation for the future. It also means that the Federal Reserve is going to have to keep interest rates higher for longer. And this is going to have an impact on especially earnings for companies going forward. So if you have any questions or concerns or need help with your portfolio on how to fight off this inflation that we're going to have for many years to come, give us a call or reach out to us at our website, thorwealthmanagement.com. And I look forward to talking to you in a couple weeks. Take care.